is the single most important foundational stone to your health. How is your sleep? According to a recent study, close to half of India wakes up feeling tired. 88% of people in India wake up multiple times in the night, and 1 in 4 Indians believe that they have insomnia of some kind. All of us have tried different methods to get good sleep. Some of us have tried sleep gummies, which are a newer entrant into the market. Some of us have tried traditions. You have doing a little bit of yoga, having some turmeric milk, maybe giving yourself a short massage to make sure that you get that 9 hours of sleep. But how much of it really works, and what are the fail-proof methods that you can share, that you can tell family members especially? And how do you make sure you get that good sleep? We thought first, let's go ahead and ask our TBC family, let's go ahead and ask viewers, the people of Bengaluru in particular, how much sleep did they get last night? Take a look.
I guess 5 or maybe 4. I actually slept around 7 to 8 hours last night. I did get a good sleep yesterday, but usually it's somewhere around 4 to 5 hours. And most of the time it's because of assignments and stuff. So that's what keeps me awake.
Usually I sleep like up to 6 to 8 hours, but because of the course I'm doing and we have a lot of practicals to do, so because of that it has shortened like up to 4 to 5 hours. Even yesterday I slept only up to 5 hours, and that's really not enough for me.
Last time I just got to sleep around 5 to 6 hours. Usually we don't get to sleep that much time. So it's basically because of our work and due to the course which we pursue, that it has a lot of practical values also. So there are a lot of stuffs which we have to complete in a particular time. So that is like a kind of challenging thing.
Okay, we're clearly not sleeping well enough. And before we go ahead, I, for example, slept about 6 hours last night. I've tried the gummies, I've tried every solution, and I thought it's important to be honest. As we're having a segment like this, as we're going to have experts on the show, how much are we actually sleeping, even when we look like we're here bright and early in the morning? We have a very special guest on the show to solve some of our sleeping problems with us. The Olympics are just a few days away, and for the first time, the Indian contingent is actually going to have a sleep advisor as part of a sports science team at the Olympics. In the past, India's javelin king, so India's javelin king Neeraj Chopra, you know already who I was going to say when I said javelin king, he's talked about spending nights at the Tokyo Games tossing and turning in bed. You also famously have Abhinav Bindra, who has spoken about how even he couldn't catch a wink of sleep before he won independent India's first Olympic gold all the way back in 2008. So how do you make sure you get sleep, especially before a big night, when you have the anxiety coursing through your veins, but when sleeping those 9 hours is actually crucial for your performance the next day? To tell us a little bit more, we have Dr. Monika Sharma. She's right now, as we speak, traveling across the world, consulting with all of the country's athletes, understanding their issues so she can better advise them during the Olympics itself. We thought we'd bring her on the show because obviously if she's good enough for India's top athletes, we want to hear for our TBC family all about India's most common sleep issues. Dr. Monika, thank you for joining us here on the show bright and early in the morning. Doctor, can we ask you first, the study and the data we just shared with our audiences, this is one of multiple sets of data that have come out in the last few years as we're gradually studying India's sleep patterns a little bit more. But all of the data when it comes to India is horrifying. There was data even earlier in the year itself which said that right after Japan, India's sleep is the worst. So data sets like this, what's going wrong with India's sleep?
Yeah. So thank you for having me. So see, sleep, we need to understand, is the bedrock of health and well-being. And unfortunately, lack of it is associated with a host of side effects, or adverse health problems, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, talking about psychiatric disorders, depression and suicidal, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. And further, what I would like to add is that sleep can also lead to mistakes in the workplace or performance and productivity. It significantly lowers psychomotor performance and it increases the risk of motor vehicle crashes due to drowsy driving. So, altogether, poor sleep or an underlying sleep disorder is a significant burden to our health and economic sectors in injury
Sure.
and disability each year. Now, coming to the question about the burden of sleep disorders, see, we have meta-analysis of the studies which have looked, at Indians, and these studies reveal that about 26% of Indians suffer from insomnia, about 38% from obstructive sleep apnea, and restless leg syndrome. The stats say about 11%. And what I also see in my clinical practice is that there is an increased prevalence in a patient population, right? So patients of diabetes, heart disease, and also otherwise normal healthy population. What we commonly get to see is daytime sleepiness, which is quite alarming.
Doctor, is it, you know how they often say that the secret to good sleep, for example, is putting your phone away 2 hours before you go to sleep? Don't scroll. Those are the most common guidelines that you hear. Is that the actual reason when we look at the data from India, that it's just that we're using our phones too much during the night too?
uh, there are a lot of intervening variables, and some of the common mistakes that I may see patients making or people making, generally speaking, is number one, hitting the snooze button.
Oh.
So, that is something we all do almost every day. This is a sleep mistake that can be avoided, that should be avoided, and it is more effective and helpful to get up after the first alarm. And I know we all think that snoozing will give us extra 10 minutes of shut
Yeah,
eye,
yeah.
but in reality, getting that extra sleep is not giving you any energy. In fact, hitting snooze button means making your sleep choppy and interrupted,
Okay.
and which
Hard to
can
remember in
actually
the
make you
morning.
feel more tired and exhausted. Other reason that I commonly see or I say mistake is consuming too much caffeine during the day. I see people consuming caffeinated beverages mindlessly throughout the day. And we need to understand that caffeine is a drug that makes us feel alert and increase adrenaline. And drinking coffee in the morning may help one get a kickstart on your day. But the truth is that caffeine can contribute to delayed sleep and also poor sleep quality.
Doctor, I'm smiling so much because it feels a little like you're reading a diary of mine and all the mistakes I'm making and coming back to us. I love asking doctors this, so we need to ask you this too. What's your own ritual? Over the years, what have you found works for you? What doesn't work for you? Have you had problems with sleep too?
Absolutely. I pretty much practice what I preach. And all the things that I just mentioned, I follow that religiously. Sleep is very dear to me. And be that, having a good self care routine before bed and taking time to unwind and relax. My favorite go-to is breathing, and I do some gentle stretches. And another one of my favorite is having turmeric milk or golden milk before going to bed. So that really helps me to switch off and sort of, calm my nerves and detach, as I mentioned, from the rest of the activities.
Are you one of those people, doctor, who at this point, after practicing, I know they call it, I think, sleep hygiene. After practicing it for so many years, does it mean you just wake up naturally without an alarm?
Absolutely. So, I am one of those person who have very strong rhythms. So I like my early mornings. I like to start my day. So yes, my rhythms are very set, and I naturally wake up, at the time that my rhythms are fixed.
Okay, we had to ask you that personal question, but doctor, let's return to questions that everyone, our audience, can take away from. Just tell us, I know that recently there's been real internet discussion around this concept that women need more sleep than men. So your wives, your mothers, they need to be getting more sleep, more time in bed than you do if you're a man. Is there science to support that?
Yeah. So I'll I have to tell you that women, this population is underserved, right? And because of a host of physiologic and hormonal changes, starting from puberty, if we talk about menstrual cycle, if we talk about pregnancy, if we talk about perimenopause, going on to menopause and postmenopause. So there are a host of physiological changes that we witness across our lifespan. And also, if we look at the additional responsibilities that women are loaded with, it makes complete sense that we need some extra time to unwind and relax. In terms of statistics, yes, women sleep poorly. We have a lot of reports saying on that. And it is, as I mentioned, it is also underserved population. So women, we don't, the diagnosis, women as a population, as a community is underdiagnosed and undertreated. So yes, based on stats, we need a little bit of extra time, and also that we are majorly underserved. And if we look at the history, traditionally, the research in medical science was just restricted to males. It was only in 1990s that they started including female, women and female population in medical research.
Okay, so share that with your family members, the women around you. Doctor, tell us lastly, this is a little bit tricky, but how do you know when your sleep problems are bad enough that you need to visit a doctor? How long, for example? Is it like after 3 weeks of problems that I should tell myself, okay, maybe I actually need to go meet someone about this?
So thank you for bringing that up. See, ignorance about sleep is quite profound in our society. I mean, even healthy adults are notoriously poor at self-assessing the magnitude of the presence and also impact of sleep loss. Underscoring the need of increased awareness of the importance of sleep. So you need to ask yourself a few questions, starting with, do you struggle to get sleep? How much time do you take to fall asleep? Is it more than 30 minutes? Do you have struggle staying asleep? Do you feel that you are experiencing frequent nighttime awakenings? Sleep is disturbed, it's choppy, it's fragmented, right? Do you feel tired during the daytime, even after, say, 7+ hours of sleep? Are you finding it harder to do regular daytime activities? Are you experiencing some mood changes in terms of irritability, feeling more groggy and grumpy, and you find yourself more reacting than responding? Apart from that, are you someone who regularly and very loudly snores? And any experiences of falling asleep while driving, experiencing daytime sleepiness? If you struggle to stay awake during the daytime, also a lot of people with sleep problems will experience brain fog. They will experience forgetfulness, simple things like I forgot my car keys, etc. So they have problem with memory and also have slowed responses.
Right.
And if you feel that your performance and your productivity has gone down and you have trouble paying attention or concentrating at work, uh, often people who suffer from sleep problem are told that they look tired.
Right. Doctor, thank you for taking out the time to speak to us. Doctor is currently, as we speak, assisting all of the country's athletes just a few days before the Paris Olympics. Doctor, good luck. Thank you so much for joining us, but also good luck on the journey forward. Let's